It's time for the Nebraska Volleyball Coaches Show.
Here's Virginia Adriano, second on the team in aces with 4, 13 service errors. Serves Demetrician, overpass, shot back. Andy Jackson, kaboom! Boop. Wow, putting deads in the Navani deck. Andy Jackson. Serve Andy Jackson, bad pass. Jacobs, back row swing. Demetrician, great dig by Laney. And then second contact punch over, kill. Guess who? Bergen Riley. She's a lethal attacker suddenly. Her 5th kill in the 2nd consecutive match. Back row attack, Jacobs, overdig, shot back, Demetrician, joust, set to Rebecca Alec, kaboom! That's volleyball.
Now, alongside head coach Danny Bus Boom Kelly, here's your host, John Baylor.
Welcome, everybody, to your Nebraska Volleyball Show. Hello, my name is John Baylor. It's right here in the swanky, brand spanking new Akrs Broadcast Center, North Stadium. Through those walls, typically sit on Saturdays, the greatest football fans in America. In here, we bring you great programming. The star of the Husker Volleyball Show in our first year, undefeated, 12-0, Danny Bus Boom Kelly, the head coach of your Husker Volleyball team. Coach Bus Boom Kelly, hello.
Hello.
Greetings. How are things with you?
Oh, they're good.
You have 2 little boys.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the new one is Jet.
Yeah.
Has he become a problem, or is he fairly
No,
well behaved?
He's the best.
He's the best?
Yeah.
What makes him the best?
Well, he's just such a good baby. Sleeps great. So happy.
Really?
He's starting to belly laugh, and that's fun stage.
Is he liking his mom a little better, his dad a little better, or is kind of neutral?
So far, he's neutral. Now, my mom would tell you he likes his grandma the best.
Bonnie's got a lot of opinions in general.
Of course.
And then your dad, Gene, he was playing with Boone, the older son, in your office during a match.
Yeah.
He wasn't paying much attention to the match. He was like running around with Boone the whole time.
Well, I think Boone's good for, 10 points at a time. Then he needs popcorn, maybe some water, a little runaround time. Then he'll come back and check out the game again.
You guys go up 7-3. He's like, I've seen the rest of this movie.
Exactly.
let's move on.
But he is saying now, when he watches the games on TV, he says, I wish I was there. Apparently, that's what I hear.
Does he ever say, I wish we would turn down the volume and turn up the radio broadcast?
I'll mention that.
Okay. You got to plant the seeds. I mean, if you want your child to be preconditioned, you got to plant seeds. The next thing you know. All right. That's exciting. So are they getting, the two of them getting along? Or
they're good.
Is Boone kind of had it with Jet already?
No, Boone's a good big brother.
Okay.
They're very sweet. He told me I was his best friend last night. That warmed my heart.
Boone told you that?
Yes.
What did he tell his father? Probably something similar, but those
I want
things
Mom.
Who can blame him? All righty. Now, you guys are 12-0, number 1 in the land. However, in beverage gathering spots across the state, a narrative arose. Are the Huskers running a 6-2?
I love Husker fans. Can't get it. They're always
thinking.
trying to stay one step ahead.
Yeah.
It's great. No, we're not running a 6-2. So we did plan to use the double sub on Saturday or Sunday, whenever our game was. Can't even remember.
Saturday matinee.
And it just turned into a 6-2 for that one set to get them some experience. And then we left them in even when the game was tight because I wanted to see if they could finish it out. And I felt like that's a combo that we're going to need to use moving forward more. And it could be a little weapon for us.
Would you call this a situational 6-2 or a double sub or just something, a third title?
I would call it a dub sub.
A dub sub.
Yeah.
Because when you're in a hurry and you got to have code when you're coaching because you move on. So when you
I said, get the dub sub ready. That's
nice.
what I say.
And then who's your courier? Who carries that message?
Kelly.
To the bed? Kelly then gets up and says, we're going to go dub sub?
Yeah.
Or is there a dub sub signal?
No,
Or is
it's
it's verbal?
Kelly, get the dub sub ready.
And Campbell knows and Allie knows. Okay, we're in.
Yeah, and then, what Husker fans don't realize, to use the double sub, it takes out a DS. Because, Laney Choboy is going in for Virginia Adriano. So you use the dub sub, Laney's not in. So then you Taylor Landfair, Terea, they have to pass 6 rotations.
Gotcha, but you've still got a libero in there.
Yeah, of course.
But in the back row, you don't have a second little.
No.
just during the dub sub 3 rotations.
Yes.
So
Well, Laney Choboy would not go in because in that spot, Campbell Flynn goes in for that spot.
And you got to live with that the entire set. You
No,
can't mid-set change your mind.
You could change your mind.
Okay, and then bring in Laney.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
so
then you don't have Campbell in, so the double sub takes away the DS.
but
And
you
then
still-
and then with the substitutions, if you do it continually, it'd be Terea or Taylor or Skylar would be in probably for all 6 rotations.
And which would you prefer? One of those two. And who's a little better as we speak? All 6 rotations, Taylor or Skylar?
Oh, they're pretty even. And Terea, Terea's been playing back row,
Yeah.
so she's got the experience and doing a nice job back there. And then Taylor's obviously been playing front row, and Sky is probably a little more similar skill set to Taylor. Passing's not her strength, but she can hold her own just like Taylor can. I wouldn't be worried about it, but Laney or Olivia, who's ever not the libero, they're just so good. It's hard to keep them off the court.
So you
We're in a predicament.
You thinking the dub sub is here for long or probably on borrowed time?
Well, the dub sub is here, just going to use it situationally. That's why we likely would never go to a true 6-2.
So it's a situational dub sub.
Yes.
That will impress other attendees at your next social gathering. Have you seen what's going on with the Huskers? The situational dub sub, and then just head to the punch bowl. Don't just at that point leave with a mic drop. So you've been kind of clearly doing a fair amount of tinkering here earlier. So any discussion of, okay, Huskers have to settle into a regular lineup?
We are
premature.
settling in. We are settling in and making adjustments from there.
Both can be true simultaneously.
Yes.
All
yes.
right. So as you settle in, what are some examples of your settling in? What are some?
Well, we've had the same starters, I think, the last four matches. So we're settling in there. Now we bring Skylar in. Would love to get her a little more experience. For Taylor, we could let T go all the way around Terea in the front row. We can Laney and Liv make switches there. The double sub. So there's a lot of adjustments that we can make, but we've settled into a starting lineup, I'd say.
Virginia Adriano for Maryland. Her name's Virginia. She was playing Maryland. 4 kills, 3 errors. Not the explosive offensive numbers you've seen of late from her.
Right. But
Those things happen. You can't every game. You're not going to.
I mean, she's not going to hit 400 every game.
Exactly. And as you look at your setters, it sounds like you're trying to find a spot for Campbell. Is that fair?
Yeah, Campbell, she's so talented. She does a great job. I think she just brings a little bit different vibe to the court. So, how can we use that again without hurting the flow of the offense? So that's why we wanted to give it a little more experience on Saturday and know that, we can use that again. Allie, I believe her block's gotten much better, so that can be an X factor too. So we want to be able to use them as long as it doesn't hurt the passing. It's a good time in the match that we could deal without Laney or Liv on the court.
You said Allie Check's block's gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
How have you helped
Just her block moves and the way she's been training her. Just the little things that maybe a novice fan wouldn't recognize. Just her technique. I think she's gotten a lot more aggressive, so I trust her to touch the ball up there more than maybe I did a month ago.
When you get transfers here in Nebraska, when you got transfers at Louisville, do you see things that make you wonder what they're coaching at their previous spots?
Not really. I mean, that's pretty. I think everybody coaches things differently, and different staffs put emphasis on different skills. And there's no right or wrong. It's just, how you see the game. And so Allie, I think, has just benefited a lot from our program in just a month with her block. And she's obviously physical enough. It's just being in the right spot and the right time. And I've just seen that really progress in the last month.
3 blocks in part-time action against Maryland.
There you go.
On Saturday. So, and the team got 11 blocks in just 3 sets. And blocking numbers were down a little bit prior to that. So you've been working awfully hard on that.
Yep.
You're feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah. I mean, some teams, they don't hit it close to your block, or they hit it out of bounds. So I feel like
That's fine.
hitting it out of bounds should get like you a little stat for blocking.
And there's nothing in the stats for that.
Well, it's an error, but nothing
For them.
For you.
Yeah. But you keep that internally? If the opponent like attacks sharper angle to avoid the block and it's out of bounds, you like make a little positive note.
We know, but we should.
Yeah, I mean, because that's block induced.
Yes.
One thing that the Huskers have been successful at, not just this year, but past, is inducing service errors from the opponent. And I thought, okay, this is just really effective psychic energy that's being sent through the net. But then I thought, no. Because if you lollipop the serve to Nebraska, it's going to likely be a side out. You just got to go for it. So what you're seeing is like the most aggressive version of serving from the Husker opponent every match, which does lead to service errors. Am I onto something?
Oh, for sure. I like it.
So I just thought it was some sort of telepathic deal. No, it's like, now speaking of service errors, there seems to be some correlation between timeouts and subsequent service error.
I think that's just general volleyball.
But you have a large staff. Is there any way you could assign someone with the chore after the opponent calls a timeout, so one of your players is going to serve with just a very simple 3-letter encouraging acronym, GII, get it in.
I mean, of course we talk about it, but
in the timeout, you always talk about it. So if the other team called timeout,
well, you don't want to like state the obvious, get in their heads, like get it in. It's just like, hey, we're gonna serve tough here. We're gonna block their outside. You really.
But what's the deal? Why does an opponent's timeout?
Well, because you have 90 seconds to sit there and you're thinking about something else and get a drink of water, slap your buddy's hand, and then you go back out there and go, oh, I got to serve.
Very cool. All right. We're going to go to the mailbag here on your Nebraska Volleyball Show. Carla in Grand Island. It appears that every player except Virginia is shown what zone they should serve to. Is that because of the zone number difference between USA and international play?
Great question.
Wow.
I think Virginia's serve is pretty unique that we give her a zone kind of, but it's more like this half of the court or that half of the court. So she just has an idea of where she's going to serve because she doesn't have as much control what zone because it's a snap serve.
So you tell all your other servers, all right, we want precision serving. With Virginia, you're like, all right, this is kind of a general region we'd like you to land the volleyball.
Yeah.
Because hers is so effective. Pinpoint actually is not as important as just getting it in.
Right.
And is she going with that snap serve more as often as you'd like?
For sure. She missed quite a bit, I felt like, on a Saturday, but we'll see on the road. We haven't been on the road yet, so I'm curious how sometimes servers are better on the road, feel a little less pressure. So I'm curious how her serve will be on Friday.
Why is that?
I know, you're like, that doesn't make sense.
Why would you feel like, oh, we're back at home, I'm feeling pressure. Oh, we're on the road, I'm more relaxed. So what's that all about?
Well, just, you have high expectations for yourself, especially at home. You have friends and family there, and obviously everybody wants to impress Husker Nation. And there's a lot of pride that goes into playing for Nebraska, and part of it is the fans. So you want to be great at home. On the road, maybe not thinking about quite so much.
Is it kind of fun playing in front of hostile student sections where, like, some of those guys, like...
Oh, it's super fun when you're playing great. If you're playing poorly, that gets old.
But there's usually like some bare-chested frat dudes who like shave their chests sometimes and they're like holding up silently. How does that affect your play?
I think it affects it, and sometimes in a positive way, sometimes negative way.
Do you ever think about bringing T-shirts with you and just say, guys,
cover up?
Yeah, please. A little much.
I haven't thought about that.
You got a few other things on your mind. Back to the old bag. How will you keep the team from becoming complacent as you go through the Big Ten Conference season? That comes from MM Victory.
Well, I mean, if we get complacent, we'll probably drop a game. And I know the Big Ten on paper is down or, not as strong as it has been, but there's still some great teams, a lot of great teams, a lot of great players. So if you get complacent, somebody can catch you. I also feel like just our practices are so competitive, and even though we are settling into a starting lineup, I mean, the margin is not large. And so if somebody's going to get complacent, they're going to be on the bench probably.
What are signs of complacency that you're just not going to stomach? Like, do you ever, like players, do you ever...
I think the effort part, that's not okay. When the controllables go out the window, like their communication, their effort, that's not going to fly.
What kind of motivational tools do you use? When you're playing a team that on paper looks like they're at a big disadvantage, like a Rutgers on Saturday.
Well, you set your mini goals, which we've been doing, and I think that's been going well with our team. And we get their input, like what goals do we want to accomplish tonight? And so usually the staff sets one and the players set two. So those are really good. And then I also think just talking about some things we maybe want to work on, or the game plan and how well can we execute a game plan. Against Maryland, it was set the middle in front and tight to the setter, and that worked great.
Worked great. So the coaches come up with one mini goal, and the players come up with two.
Yeah.
Can you share with us what the mini goals were in past games?
Sometimes like on Saturday, it was 3 blocks a set. So that was great. We hadn't accomplished that in a long time, and that was the players set that. Coaches set one where no middle tips, so can't let a middle tip fall. They're various. They could be past a certain number. We want 3 aces this match. So we vary it kind of depending on the opponent and what the plan is.
And they all seem to work out.
We've missed quite a few of them, but usually we hit 2 of them. It's just good to get their mindset. We always set those after we do all of our prep and watch film on the opponent. So get them thinking about, okay, what is important to win this match.
Against the tougher opponents, maybe set 9 mini goals.
That's too many.
Okay. You got to focus on just 2 or 3.
Yes.
Very cool. All right, stay right there, folks. This is your Nebraska Volleyball Show, and it's brought to you by Central Valley Ag. Get reliable propane fuel and lubricants from Central Valley Ag for home, farm, and business. And contact 811 2 days before you dig to protect your underground utilities and yourself. It's free. It's easy. It is the law. Now, contact 811. More Nebraska Volleyball Show after you hear this.
Reliable energy service wherever you need it. Whether it's propane, fuels, or lubricants, Central Valley Ag delivers with reliability and care you can count on. From your farm to your home or your business, CVA Energy is your trusted partner for agricultural, commercial, and residential energy solutions. Details at cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
You show up for every Husker game because it's about more than football. It's about celebrating that Nebraska grit that's in our DNA. That same drive pushes you to get stronger, move more, and take care of yourself. To show up for the people and moments that matter most. We believe you have what it takes. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska covers preventive care with every plan. And our digital tools help you stay on track every step of the way. Blue believes in what you're made of, and Blue believes in you.
Preparation is the key to success on game day. And like your favorite Huskers on the field, you need to be ready right from the opening kickoff. Cenex has your pre-game routine covered. We've got your salty snacks, your sweet treats, ice-cold beverages to wash them down, and fresh tanks of propane to fire up the grill. Fuel your fandom at your local Cenex station. Husker Pride, powered locally.
Over the last few years, we've redefined what working remotely means, and so is the Ford F-150. Bring your desk wherever you go with an available flat interior work surface. Drop down the available tailgate work surface to get it all done, and plug in what you need outside the cab with available Pro Power on board. How's that for upping your productivity? Tough this smart can only be called F-150. Get F-150 for 0.9% plus $3,250 cash, or lease one for $499 a month and 0 down. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers, driven by value.
Set. Hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole, Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
Reliable energy service wherever you need it. Whether it's propane, fuels, or lubricants, Central Valley Ag delivers with reliability and care you can count on. From your farm to your home or your business, CVA Energy is your trusted partner for agricultural, commercial, and residential energy solutions. Details at cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Welcome back to your Nebraska Volleyball Show. It's Penn State week. We know we've cautioned you in the past, no peeking ahead, but now you can peek ahead. Penn State on Friday. And the Lions, Danny Busboom Kelly, head coach and star of your Nebraska Volleyball Show, are 7-5. And they had to win set 5 Friday night against USC at home, 15-13. I mean, Penn State could be 6-6. Stunning.
Wild. That's what, talking about getting complacent. You can't get complacent. Somebody's going to beat you.
That's what I say is that this is fragile. Take good care to not take it for granted.
Right.
Like this,
winning is hard.
Say more.
Winning is hard at whatever level. It's difficult to win. Very few programs, teams of any sport get to consistently win. So we don't want to take that for granted. And yes, like you said, an ugly win's a win. A great-looking win's a win. They all go down as a W.
Florida State football last year, Penn State volleyball. Who thought after they lost, 3 great players, but otherwise the nucleus is back, and they add one of the top 2 transfers in the country in Kennedy Martin, that they'd be 7-5 at this stage. And you look at their lineup, you're like, even with a different setter, you're thinking,
yeah,
this should not be set. This should be 9-3.
Right.
Maybe 8-4.
Yeah, and you got to understand they're going to have some distractions. When you lose a player midseason, and that plays into it as well. But again, great team coming back, and we're watching film, prepping for them, thinking you can't look at their record because this is a good team, a physical team, great players. They hit hard. They're coached well. They got a great libero. There's not too many weaknesses.
Now, it looks like they're just throwing the ball up to Kennedy Martin. So they got a new setter. She was recruited by Missouri, Power 4 conference, spent most of her career playing at St. Louis University. She's a grad senior. Her name is Addie Lyon. But when you've got Kennedy Martin getting 67 swings in the UCLA 4-set match that they lost in 4, you got to think to yourself, they're just throwing the ball high wherever she's located and let her jump up and try to terminate.
Probably, yeah, in that game, and I think that probably is a consequence of just maybe an outside hitter having an off night or somebody that was struggling, because they have had a fairly balanced offense. They've got 2 really good left sides. Their middles are very solid. So it's not a team that is just going to – they might not setter that much against us, and – you see these teams with great players changing their offenses. Like Pitt, first weekend was Babcock. Now their middles are involved, their outsides are rolling. So teams are continuing to evolve.
Boy, there were 13 years there when Nebraska and Penn State won a combined 9 national championships.
Wow.
Over 13 years. And Nebraska's got 5 all-time. Penn State's got 8 all-time. And Stanford leads the country with just 9. When you think of great rivalries, you might think of Red Sox-Yankees, which just started. Can't believe it. The Red Sox are back in the playoffs. I'm giddy, but let's stay focused. You think of Nebraska-Penn State. You think of Kentucky-Louisville. You think of Adams-Freeman, Falls City, Sacred Heart. So of those 4, which one's the most intense?
Well, are we talking volleyball only? No, you're talking rivalries in general.
Rivalries in general.
Out of the ones you just...
Yeah. I
would say the Louisville-Kentucky rivalry is pretty wild.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's all sports. It's even like random stuff. So
like what?
Just Lexington, Louisville. It's like, oh,
cities. Which city's better?
Yeah.
Who's got better? Mint julep.
Exactly.
Is mint julep tasty?
No.
I think you're onto something. But it sounds good.
On Derby Day, it tastes fine.
Doesn't it sound good? But I get happy. Like, okay, you can finish this one for me. But I think of my old Nebraska, Oklahoma football. That's a rivalry built on respect. Nebraska Creighton, that's a rivalry, in my opinion, built on a lot of respect. How about Nebraska Penn State volleyball?
Yeah, definitely.
Built on respect.
I would say.
When they start taking some of our players and winning national championships, it adds a little spice to the sauce.
Yes.
Okay.
That was during a time when I was not here and not really paying attention as much to those type of things. So,
how about Falls City Sacred Heart Adams?
I mean,
Freeman?
that goes deep.
That goes deep. I mean, once you hit like the Pawnee City area, that's like the dividing line right there.
Exactly.
It's either west or east.
Yes.
How much does this one mean to you all? You weren't here, I know, but I mean, over 4 weeks, Penn State broke Husker hearts twice.
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot, and you forget, like, I have something in common with this team. I went out against Penn State, too, to finish the season, and so, it means a lot. It's a big match. Again, built on respect, but I think there's some of that, like, extra unfinished business attitude, chip on our shoulders, call it what you want.
If your former All-American Anna DeBeer does not get injured, you go into the national championship match last December. You got the home crowd. So you're talking about 14,000 crazies.
There's 22.
That's what I thought. There were still 14, but there were another 8 with them, okay? 22,000 total, okay? And then you got the horse coming out at the beginning and the bugle guy coming in. Place is going to be a madhouse, which it was, but you didn't have Anna DeBeer.
Right.
If she were there, would you be the first woman to win a national championship?
No comment. I mean, you don't know. That's the thing. You don't know. But it would have been a different game.
Now, people for years, including myself, got involved in this debate over, okay, why in women's college basketball have so many women had great success as head coaches, but not to the same degree in volleyball up until probably, 5 years ago, potentially? Yeah. I think there's an easy answer. But what's your answer?
Oh, well, you said it's easy.
All right. They got paid more, so they all could have nannies.
Ah, good point.
Whereas women's volleyball coaches didn't get paid enough.
Right.
So everyone was talking about the balance. How do you do both? Well, if you're a head women's basketball coach, like, I know how to do both. It's like, we'll hire a couple nannies. That's how we'll do both. I'm making $1.5 million a year. Yeah. Too simple, or is there more to it?
That's a great point, and I actually not thought of that, but it makes way more sense than anything I was about to come up with.
For years, people have debated that.
Yeah.
And like, as if there's some sort of unknown. And then I just suddenly realized, maybe I'd heard it somewhere. You listen to you hear these podcasts. Yeah. People are like giving away all this expertise. So you listen to podcasts, you just like walk into a social gathering. Everyone thinks you're like this genius. No, you just drove over and everyone. Anyway, the point is that I don't know where I got it, but I think I came up. But bottom line is this: it just seems to it explains a lot.
Right.
Because all these years, we're talking about 40 plus years.
But here's another point I always thought of, but the money makes a lot more sense when you tie it in, is, volleyball coaches making not that much money. They keep their jobs for, 40 years. There's not a lot of movement. So all these men, I mean, you think of the programs that had long-standing coaches, there's no turnover. So now that jobs are turning over, women are getting hired at these prominent schools.
Okay, so men were staying and building these juggernauts.
And not that they deserve to get fired. I'm just saying, when you're making, a quarter, not even an eighth of what a women's basketball coach is, they lose a few games, have a losing season, you're out of there. But if you're not making as much money, it's like, well, we'll give them a little more chance.
Gotcha. So
I don't know. Am I making sense?
Yeah, sort of. But men always had the head start. Yeah. And in volleyball, they kind of stuck around. Mick Haley was a rarity when he left Texas for USC, and he got replaced by Jim Moore, who was a guy. And then when he left USC, he was for an interim deal. He was replaced by a guy, but that I don't think was unique to volleyball. My guess is in women's basketball they had the head start as well. But women kind of got in there sooner, it seemed. But I think the big explanation though is that they could have the balance.
Yeah.
They didn't have to decide. Like I think a lot of assistant coaches in volleyball in the past did. Look, I want to have a family. I got to stay an assistant.
Yeah.
Does it change dramatically the responsibilities of the job if you go from an assistant to a head coach to the point that being a parent becomes pretty difficult?
I really think it's where you work and who you work with. I don't think it's the title that changes things. It's who you're surrounded by. So it depends on the demands of the head coach. As an assistant, what the demands are, what your role is as the assistant. And as the head coach, it depends on who you hire and if you can balance out work. And I think it just really depends on the program and the people.
You've worked at Nebraska, of course, as an assistant and head coach, Louisville as an assistant and head coach, Tennessee as an assistant. Have you felt a different level of support at different places?
For sure.
Really?
I mean, in regares to family? Or
yeah,
in regards to just
professionally,
support.
so you could just, because it takes a team.
Yeah.
And to do everything you're trying to do right now in your personal life and your professional life, my guess is you got to have a lot of support.
You got a lot of support for sure. And again, you got to be working with and for people that understand. So, I felt like my boss at Louisville, when I was an assistant, was very understanding of work-life balance. I felt like when I was a head coach at Louisville, I really understood that for my assistants. And I was speaking to this mentee program last night, talking about how Dan Meskey, who's the head coach now,
with a very full beard.
Yeah, he, would take a day off of practice during his kids' spring break week. Well, we were still practicing because it wasn't spring break at the university, but it was just it was important to them. All their friends were out of town. It's like, I need to do this for my family. And it's like, without practice, it's like, this is kind of weird. He's taking a day off, but that didn't matter if we won the national championship or not. The practice on March 12th.
Probably
not. But
he was missed, but.
But he was missed, but it really mattered, for his family and made a big impact there. So I think it just depends where you're at.
All right, we got to get back to the mailbag. Kurt Reitz is excited about all this conversation about family, but he wants to get to brass tacks. How do we get our passers to follow the ball to the end line in serve receive instead of constantly letting it drop on the line?
Yeah, it's been interesting. We're good for one a match, I feel like. So we're working on it.
So what should they be doing? Like, should they be following all the way back to the end line and at the last moment, okay, this is probably in?
Well, that's the thing. If they're following, it doesn't matter if they're turning and looking at it or just, they're probably going to let that drop. I think the serves have gotten so much better, over the years. And like we already talked about, teams are teeing off against us. We've got new passers, Terea's new and a freshman, so give her a little bit of grace, but we got to get better. That's something we're continually to talk about. And
some of these are like in by the diameter of a volleyball, so not even that close. So I'm just wondering, of all these, you said at least one a set that drop.
A game, hopefully.
When a whole match.
Match.
That drops in. What percentage are you like sympathetic? Like, I thought that might have been out too. And then what percentage are like, guys, okay, that was not going out.
Yeah.
Hello.
Let's go. You're sympathetic to maybe, 20% of those.
That's it.
Yeah.
It was like 80%. You're like, guys,
let's go.
Let's bring a physics professor here and talk about gravity. Okay, that ball was going to be in.
Yes.
Okay.
I think part of it too is we can't be obsessed with stats and like, oh, what are we passing today or who's passing what? It's like, because then the tough serves. They're like, oh, you go because I don't want that stat, and it's like it doesn't matter. Like, we got to continue to focus on as a group, like who are the best passers as a group, not individuals.
Talk more about that. Do you think that does come into play a little bit?
I think, and back here, I mean, you can't see me on the radio pointing to the back of my head.
Yes.
Like subconsciously, you're not thinking about it, but I do think it comes into play.
Interesting. All right, let's go back to the mailbag. Husker red sauce. This ought to be good. Oh, yeah, I don't think it's his real name. I think it's just... Anyway, please ask Coach if she senses the fans' frustration with Taylor Landfair. She's a 6-year player, former player of the year, that's still inconsistent. How do you think Taylor's playing?
I would disagree. I think she's playing really well, and statistically, she's done some great things. I think she's still, of course, like I'm sure the fans feel it too, like there's more left. There's more in the tank, and how do we get that out? It's like time's dwindling. We only got how many games left of your entire career? Let's get going.
18 regular season and hopefully 6 more.
So, you don't have that much time left, so let's put it out there. But I've overall been pretty satisfied with her play in matches. And
practice?
I think practice, there is something to these older players and their bodies breaking down and not being able to take quite as heavy as a load. So that comes into play in practice too. But I'm not blowing smoke when I say this is it's razor thin, the competition at that position. And we're going to continue to make changes when we need them. But there's something about experience and volleyball IQ that an older player brings that just younger player can't.
Skylar, have you seen an improvement just since you've arrived?
Oh, yeah. Play? From January to now, it's crazy. Or like February. What? Just the consistency, confidence, everything. Just everything.
Skylar Pierce is on my all-time starting 6 Husker smile team.
Yeah.
When she smiles after a big kill, you're like, I don't care if we're down 8. It's okay now. She just brightens the whole arena.
Yeah, for sure.
And we already talked about Manaya Obeche's on that team, too.
Oh,
so we got to
sure.
remember people from the past. I can't load it up with just current players. That's not fair.
Yeah, it's true.
You got any other? I think Danny Busman might have been on that team.
Maybe.
Starting libero. We got a big libero coming up here. This is from John in Omaha. I think that might be his real name. Can you explain to a new volleyball fan the job of libero? What makes a good libero? So glad you are where you are.
Oh. No, a lot of things make a great libero. I think it is dependent on each team, and each team might need a little bit more. But being a great libero, of course, the obvious. You got to be a good passer. You got to be able to dig balls. But what makes great liberos and what sets great ones apart from average ones, I think, is the intangibles. And can they make the players around them better? A. B. Are their communication skills really strong, and are they direct? You don't have time for a lot of fluff. It's like you got to be direct. And you just got to be able to put yourself out there, I think, with your play. Whereas you got to be cutting people off. You want to be overly aggressive. And then
center fielder, you want to take care of everything that's between.
Yes, and then, of course, the out-of-system setting is probably the last skill. Like, you got to be a great out-of-system setter.
You talked about direct communication. Of course, on the court. Do you mean off the court, too?
Mostly on the court,
right.
Yeah.
Quick,
fast. You got to be, you're behind everybody. You're only thinking about digging. So you got to be able to
and what are some things?
See things.
Mine, yours. What kind of fast communication is going on out there?
Well, you're talking to the hitters like, hey, there's 2 blocks up or swing line. You're getting everybody into cover. You're making sure you're communicating like not only what our players are doing, but what the other team's doing.
That's
you
before
gotta know
the serve.
Yeah, before the serve.
But how about during the rally? I'll take it.
That's a little really quick.
Okay.
I got it. But it's also, you have to have that mentality and a confidence. Like when you say, I got it, that you're actually going to go get it. There's so many times like, I got it, you got it. You want your libero to be.
You want the libero to take charge and the others to defer. Like libero says, I got it, you get out of there.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I saw this video. I think it was on some of these social media platforms, these deals that people spend 5 hours a day on. Anyway, it was of your players watching video of you as a player.
Oh, yeah. I did see that one.
And one of the comments was, oh, my gosh, they play so differently. I can't even believe this. It's like a different sport.
I don't know what they were talking about. Those first high-level playing.
I totally agree. I'm like, okay, what are they seeing here that's so different?
Right.
It's my contention that the distinction, back to women's basketball versus women's volleyball, in the play in your day, and even in the 90s to today, is a much smaller gap. I mean, there's shorter players back in the 90s, but the gap of play
I was confused by that comment, too. Maybe a little bit higher sets.
Yeah, they can say, I can't believe they're setting off the net like that. And I'm like,
What?
It looked like a 20.
Well, we were probably setting Sarah Pavin on
like-
D-balls, and she was crushing it.
You're like, where's Sarah? Bump it up there. Okay, that's going to be our point. Okay. So, whereas women's basketball, I used to call the games for the Huskers in the 90s. I mean, those kids who started, we'd be on the end of the bench now.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a different sport in women's basketball, in my opinion. The gap is huge between the 90s. I know I just offended a lot of women's basketball players, but volleyball, the players were shorter in the 90s, and you played 20 years ago. And maybe they didn't have quite as much power, and they hadn't invented the float serve yet. Like, when did the float serve come in, and why did it take so long for that to be invented? Because it's easier on your shoulder, tougher to pass.
Yeah. I don't know when it came.
Like 2010, 2011, it just took over the sport.
What do you mean float? Like jump float?
Jump float, yeah.
Yeah.
The jump float serve.
Yeah, it just took over.
It hadn't been invented in your day. I mean, Jordan was still jump serving most of the time.
We were jump floating.
Okay, so it was invented just before you started playing.
It was invented before.
But had it taken over the sport at that point, or was it
not
just
as much? I mean, the serving was easier, but going back to like who would start on that 06 team on this team. I mean, our players there's a lot of people that probably be starting.
Yeah, I think I'm not saying call a special team meeting, but this is like something that probably needs to be communicated, because you guys were pretty good in 06.
We were good. I'll take that team against a lot of current teams.
You weren't playing the Tri-Delts at Stanford in that championship match. That was like the varsity volleyball team with future Olympians that you took down. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, stay right there. You have more Nebraska volleyball show after you hear this.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Aksarben Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
Call SOS, a trustworthy company since 1950. Their technicians don't earn commission. This equals fair treatment to their customers. SOS is a family-owned third-generation company, and now to celebrate the 75th year in business for a limited time, get a new York AC or furnace for $75 per month. Get you and your loved ones comfortable again with SOS.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
Call 402-391-2336.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Baxter Toyota of La Vista, Baxter Toyota of Lincoln, Corin Toyota of Bellevue, or Village Point Toyota of Omaha.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit gocurrency.com and apply today.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Welcome back to your Nebraska Volleyball Show. There's the head coach, Danny Busboom Kelly. Coach, I'm being told by our fabulous production crew, Josh and Cam. Josh, the pride of Norfolk, father of two. They go to Eagle Elementary. Meanwhile, Cam, pride of Lincoln East. They're telling me that last segment was like 20 minutes. Oh. And so we got like 6 minutes for like two quick. My point is, I got to tell everyone that Union Bank and Trust, alrighty, is going to sponsor every block on the court this season. Alrighty, in their Blocking Out Hunger campaign, benefiting the Food Bank of Lincoln, Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC. And hey, League One Volleyball is coming to Omaha this January. Love Omaha Volleyball is Omaha's newest pro team. Visit Love, hold everything. Visit LOVB.com for tickets, LOVB.com for tickets. And you know where we are. The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Penn State Friday night. Do you let Kennedy Martin have a huge night and shut everyone else down? Or do you try to shut her down and force someone else to beat you?
We're not going to shut her down. Let's just, I think her percentage is important. So, like, Babcock against us at the beginning of the year had 20 kills, but she hit 150. So they're gonna get some kills, but we can't let them get set 40 times and have 30 kills.
She had 403 against UCLA.
Yeah,
and UCLA still won.
Yeah.
So it was a formula that apparently worked for them. But on that
note, I think that the outside hitters in the middles for Penn State are very good. So we let them go off, and I don't think it matters what Kennedy does because she's going to get a certain amount of kills.
Caroline Jarusevicius against UCLA only had 6 kills. You can't count on that, especially against Nebraska. She's been a Husker killer in the past. And Emmy Selman, you only hit 108, so you can't count on that.
No. I think Emmy Selman will play much better. I think Jarusevicius will play better. The player they brought in for Jarusevicius, a freshman, Alexis Ewing, is one of the most physical outsides in the country.
Patrick Ewing's daughter.
Yeah.
Still ticked off he didn't go to Boston College. The guy grew up in Cambridge, Georgetown. Hello. Meanwhile, so to try to synthesize what you just said, you're going to keep an eagle eye on Kennedy Martin's attack percentage. And if she's hitting a big percentage number, you're thinking an extra blocker. If she's getting a ton of swings, but her percentage is kind of low, you kind of like a balanced defense.
Yes.
Stay right there. More Nebraska Volleyball Show after you hear this.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
It's not a job. I don't start my day by logging in or end my shift by punching out. I don't have a corner office, but I do have a seat with a view. I get to see every sunrise and every sunset. And while I may technically be my own boss, I fully accept that I am not in charge. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe insurance should adjust to fit your needs. That's why we work with you to design an auto, home, and life insurance plan that's particular to you. Insurance that fits just right. And Shelter is known for our award-winning customer service, satisfied customers, and a plan for you. Ready to check us out? Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
See Shelter agents Brent Rucco, Pete Vols, or George Florum in North Platte today.
Welcome back for a final segment of your Nebraska Volleyball Show. The Huskers getting ready for Penn State, number 16 in the land. They're 7-5, 7 o'clock first serve Central Time Friday night. pregame is at 6 p.m. on Friday night. And then at Rutgers on Saturday night, 6 o'clock Central Time, first serve. And then, of course, pregame 1 hour prior to that, 5 p.m. Hey, final mailbag question for this week. Do you think Bergen is the best setter in the country? Yes or no? What makes her elite? What does she need to improve to push her to the next level?
I mean, I'm trying to think of the other setters in the country, and I would say Bergen is for sure top 3, let's say.
Without Izzy Stark, maybe top 2.
I was going to say that, but I didn't want to. I don't even know. It's funny. I don't know the other setters out there right now. I know, obviously, the Louisville setter is very good.
Charlie Furbringer at Wisconsin.
Charlie Furbringer, the Stanford freshman is a stud, but she's got some things to work on. Anyways, so yes, I would say she's definitely up there. What does she need to improve? I think continuing to be great in big moments. I think she's made a lot of headway, but can she continue her risky play or riskier confidence as a setter when the game's on the line would be number one, and I'm probably going to find out Friday night. And then I think that's probably the biggest one. Obviously location a little bit here and there, but I think that's been great too.
Izzy Stark pulls herself out of the sport for the whole fall. She's arguably, if not the best, one of the top 3 setters in the country. As a true freshman, led Penn State to a national championship. Pulled herself out for mental health reasons. What's your reaction to that story?
You just feel bad for Penn State, and you feel bad for Izzy Stark, whatever they're going through. It's hard. Athletics is hard, and that's why I try to tell our team always, like, this is a game. Like, we should be so lucky that we're now they're making money too. I get to make money coaching a game. They get to make money playing a game, and bring so much joy to other people. And you just don't want to take that for granted. But I just feel bad for both parties involved. You just don't want to see that. Even rival, no rival, team you don't have any connection to, you just don't want to see that.
Tragic. All right. What are 1 or 2 subplots in the Penn State matchup? As the Huskers try to end a 2-match losing streak to Penn State, what are 1 or 2 subplots you think will be indicators that'll correlate towards which team ultimately wins?
I know we've been talked about our passing in the past, but we have to the serve pass game. Penn State is on film, what I've seen, one of the best serving teams in the country. So that's going to be a massive challenge for us. And I think that the head-to-head middles, the middle play, our middles on attacking. Again, they've got great attackers on all pins and middles. So can we slow them down from a blocking standpoint?
Jordan Hopp plays for Penn State. She's from Alliance, Carhenge country. Do you want greater Alliance to be rooting for the Huskers, or do you understand if they're a little sympathetic towards Jordan Hopp and the Lions?
They got to be going for the Huskers.
Nice.
Come on.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think during school you go around and take a loyalty test. All right, who's rooting for Nebraska tonight here at Alliance Elementary?
Yep.
Thanks, Danny Busby
All
Kelly.
right, thank
That's
you.
The head coach, undefeated 12-0. Her Huskers, my goodness, taking on Penn State. Is this the best rivalry in volleyball? Longhorns and Husker fans might disagree, but it's right there. 12 make it 13 national championships between them. For the head coach, my name's John Baylor. More Sports Nightly when we continue. For my sake, good night, Nebraska.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Red 31! Defend your network like a champ with Hamilton Business Technologies. From end zones to endpoints, our cybersecurity solutions keep your business and your data protected from online threats. We offer real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and experts who monitor it all for you. You keep doing what you do best, and we will protect the rest. Hamilton Business Technologies, the official business IT partner of the Huskers. Visit us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Performance meets luxury at Woodhouse Cadillac. Lease the 2025 Cadillac Lyric Sport 1 for $396 a month for 24 months and 10,000 miles per year. Browse our inventory in-store or shop online today at woodhousecadillac.com. With approved credit, tax title license extra, first payment, and $299 document fee due at signing. Must currently own a 2010 or newer competitive Conquest brand vehicle. Must currently own a Costco membership to qualify. Courtesy transportation vehicle with 1,259 miles. Offer expires September 30th, 2025. See dealer for details.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit gocurrency.com and apply today.
At Hogemeyer, we're raising the bar on yield performance, bringing world-class traits and genetics to these local fields with the exceptional corn rootworm control and proven powerful yields of new Vorceed-enlist corn. The unsurpassed flexibility and protection against above-ground pests with PowerCore enlist corn and other next-gen corn hybrids built to perform and boost your yields. It's time to raise a better crop. View Hogemeyer products at therightseed.com.
Good evening, Husker Nation. I'm David Sotek reporting from our studio, and the Sports Ticker is brought to you by the experienced advisors at Stonebridge Wealth Systems. First, starting with some bowling action, some Husker alumni were able to earn top finishes in 2 different tournaments. First, the Huskers went 1-2-3 at the Nebraska USBC Queens Tournament in Omaha, with Kendall Hoffmeister, Christy Roseberg, and Julia Bond taking the gold, silver, and bronze, respectively. Then Kayla Pashina earned her first professional win at the 2025 PWBA Twin Cities Regional in Minnesota. And in men's basketball news, the Huskers welcomed 8 newcomers to their team, including Jamarcus Lawrence from Rhode Island, Bryce Sanford from Iowa, and Frederick Leo Curtis, a 7'1" center from Iceland. You can see them and the other newcomers in action right here in Lincoln at PBA as they face BYU on October 18th at 12 p.m. All the action will be right here on the HRN. And some MLB action from around the country. It's a wild card day, and the Tigers headed out of town to go face the Guardians, and they're coming back victorious 2-1. And then the Cubs hosted the Padres earlier today and took home the victory as well, 3-1, and an intense game between the Red Sox heading out to the concrete jungle to face off against the Yankees, where the Red Sox just gained the lead 2-1. The Sports Ticker is brought to you by Stonebridge Wealth Systems, navigating you to and through the retirement of your dreams. Local advisors, a disciplined process, their retirement compass. Visit StoneBridgeIWM.com. Coming up next is Hour 2 of Sports Nightly, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
2 wide each way. Underwood out of the gun. Marshall, the running back right. Takes the wayside snap. 4-man twisting rush. Underwood under pressure. Ball's loose. It's picked up. Deshaun Singleton was in the area. Beanbags on the turf. They stripped it. Black shirts get it done and get the takeaway. Snap to Raiola. Rolls right. Looks downfield to the numbers. Raiola plants. Launches. Far right side of the end zone. Jump ball. Was it caught? Was it caught?
Unreal.
Touchdown! Huskers! Jakari Barney on a prayer! 52 yards!
Line drive serve is in. Pass by Harper. Set middle. Rebecca for the match. She got it! Call the grand kid. Nebraska wins another in 5 over Creighton. The Big Red remains perfect. 9-0 in 2025.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Kyle Crooks on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 is presenting always come back to entertaining,
It's like a traveling show. They should go on the road, sell tickets.
You just hear them laughing about it.
Yeah, I know.
And even like during commercial breaks, they're constantly laughing.
That's what makes for a good show and a good listen and a good watch, whether you're watching on the YouTube stream. Or you can even watch now our video streams on Twitter. It's everywhere now. So you can tune in from wherever you may be, whatever platform you may be on.
402-413-2400 is the number if you want to be a part of this next hour with Kyle and me. We try to be as entertaining as Danny Busboom Kelly and John Baylor, but no promises made here. It's still buzzing around here tonight because men's basketball has been in the building all afternoon and I guess knocking out some media stuff with a bunch of different entities and getting the intro video shot, but it's great to see those guys around, and women's basketball will be here tomorrow.
It just shows that there's everything is on the horizon here. It's about to be a month of chaos coming up in October once basketball exhibitions start, and then the season starts in early November, and then the real craziness begins. But it was good to see the guys up here, sort of up out and about here in this media floor that we have here. I saw our guy head of men's basketball communications, Seamus, who's kind of double dipping with football, and football had media today and men's basketball, so he's been up here all day. It's good to see him.
He got me two different interviews and you one interview, all different sports.
He's
two
all over it.
Football, basketball, so he just walked by. So shout out Seamus. I know. Look, we're biased, I know, but I feel like I have covered enough sports and been in enough places that I can speak to the fact that this communications department is the best in the biz.
The best. And it's led by Keith Mann, who I've had a chance to work with a lot here over the last couple months. And you want to, when you're in such a chaotic business that is sports, and especially sports communication, I give him so many props because he's such an even keel person when that job can make you anything but. And he's a very calming presence, and he's very good at his job, and they all are. They all are very similar. So when a guy like Keith sort of is leading the effort, it trickles down, and everyone does such a great job for all these sports. It's such an important job. I mean, if you work in sports and you do what we do on the broadcasting side of it, they're probably the single most important people outside of the coaches and the athletes.
And there are very few programs that have the kind of eyeballs and media coverage like Nebraska. I mean, even so, the bigger programs don't have the kind of following that's here every single week, multiple times a week.
Yeah, it's the biggest probably football beat, maybe outside of Ohio State in the conference. And I mean, when you're talking about some of the largest media beats, it's probably up there with the Ohio States, the Alabamas. I've seen Florida's up close and personal. It's one of the largest media gatherings on any given, I'd say a Monday for a Matt Rule press conference or a post-game press conference. It's a really large group that they have to deal with.
And it's not like it's the biggest media market in the country,
No.
like a LA or Miami or anything like that. What did you think of the tone today during the media availability with the coordinators and some of the guys that went up to the podium?
It just seems like it's very matter of fact this week. I think Coach Rule was usually he likes to expand a little bit more. Yesterday, it didn't seem like he was in a mood to do a whole lot of that. I think Dana was really good today. John Butler is, I think, a lot better than we let on when it comes to these press conferences, just sort of giving us information. But I think Dana, and we'll hear a lot from him tomorrow when we have him on the Nebraska football show. But the way he broke down how practice has gone and how this team has seemed to attack it the last couple weeks, and he said that he hasn't seen anything in his coaching career like he saw during the bye week.
Yeah.
The physicality.
Yeah, that was one of my big takeaways from what he said, because here's a guy that has been a longtime head coach, been a high-level offensive coordinator, and we tried to, we said that we were around doing some things last week and saw it firsthand. I mean, they went to work last week, and it was business as usual. In fact, I think they were even more so motivated. But that being said, it's not like they're trying to overplay the loss. It's do what we do, but we do want to take this time that we have to get better and improve going into Michigan State.
I think it was notable, too, one of the quotes that Dana had. He said, Michigan showed us what it should look like as a team, the way that they ran the ball, the way that they were able to control the line of scrimmage, make plays defensively in the open field, make big-time tackles, but specifically I'm sure he was talking more from the offensive perspective. He even had the offensive guys go back and watch the Michigan offensive tape to say, hey, this is what we're striving to be. And maybe we're not there yet, but it seems like they've done everything humanly possible over the last couple weeks to get things set. And you're now running into a Michigan State team that's interesting. We've talked a little bit about them. I've had the opportunity to look a little bit more into what they do, and defensively, they have a lot of issues. They're the worst pass defense in the Big Ten. They're a little better against the run, but they've had a lot of issues with injury, especially in the linebacker position. They have some injury issues on the defensive line. So you look all three levels, I think there's some sort of level of concern for Michigan State right now. I think they're giving up nearly 30 or so points per game. So there's a lot of things that they have to figure out, and maybe it's a team that Nebraska is playing at the right time, because I think Nebraska wants to be able to run the ball, control time of possession, and this is a team that they should be able to do that against. You don't take anything for granted, though.
You mentioned it. So Dana Holgerson will be on the show tomorrow night from 6 to 7 in that first hour for our Nebraska football show. So we won't hear any of his cuts tonight. We are going to hear a couple from John Butler. here in just a few minutes. But I think a couple things, too, came out from the press conference that you might see a couple tweaks with this offense on Saturday. Now, it's not going to be look like completely different. They're going to do what they do, but sounds like he might, try to tweak some things, get some different players involved in some different roles. And, that's what he's good at, is finding those matchups and different players that he can really utilize in different ways.
Yeah, I think the opening script they had against Michigan to me was something, and Damon, I think, remarked as well that it was a really good plan they had, and they just couldn't convert a 4th and 2. But that drive was really trending like it was going to be a quick touchdown drive. So there were some good things there, but there are a lot of things that you have to mix up, whether that's some mix-ups on the offensive line and changing personnel and what maybe that looks like to start. We'll find out on Saturday. And then, is it a little bit more solidified in terms of the running back rotation? Do we see a little bit more Quentin Ives this week? That's something maybe I could be interested to see that, because he is, last time we saw him, he didn't play against Michigan. Last time we saw him was a career day. Granted, it was against Houston Christian, but can we see more of his running style in Dana's offense this week? And can we continue to see more from Dylan? But from a personnel perspective, I think it's fair to say, because what the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I think the coaches look at it that way too. We gotta switch things up, do things a little bit differently, and hope we net a different result.
Sam in Omaha just texted in, does Mike Eckler speak with the media or just Holgorsen and Butler? Just OC and DC, but when is Mike Eckler scheduled to come on this show?
He might be Minnesota week, but we have him for a coach's show for an hour.
I know he's coming up pretty soon. So he'll be on this program coming up, but he does the preseason and during fall camp and then in spring football, but not the regular availabilities, but we will look forward to hearing from him soon. He has been my favorite guy to watch on the sideline this year.
He's
just not even the things that he's told me. There are times that I want to tell you guys what he's told me, but you're in the middle of something. But like, he told me right in the 90s, that when they were running out for that 95 tunnel walk, that he stopped and he's like, all right, you get suited up. COVID year, granted immediately. It's just the things that he's said to me. Just, he was the one that told me that Coach Rule was going to run out with the team against Cincinnati. Then I was able to tell you, just some of the things that you could just tell how much. I think it was Will Compton said he's psycho. He's a psycho. But the guys, it's cool to see on the sideline. It's one thing to hear him say it, but you can see how much they buy in and believe in him. But it's also really neat to see how much he absolutely loves being here at Nebraska.
Well, I'll tell you what hasn't been an issue, and that's been special teams, right? Aside from the handful of kicks that have been kicked out of bounds but haven't come back to haunt this team, the operation has been clean. I did find out today that they actually went back and credited Jameer Khan with a block punt. If you remember, against Houston Christian, I think I called it on the air at the time that it sounded like he had a piece of it, but we couldn't really confirm it. We went back, the communication staff, Coach Eckler, upon his request, went back and asked them to look at it. So they credited Jameer Khan with a block punt. So now this year, they have a block field goal and a block punt and no real snafus on special teams. So a lot of that credit goes to Mike Eckler and what a difference a year makes in that regard.
I think also what I've seen too is, and we've talked about this on the air, but when there is an issue, it's the attention to detail for the special teams has been just on a whole different level, in the way that it's not, it is everybody coming over. They're watching the iPads like what the offensive and defensive players do. And if there's an issue, he comes over, he makes sure that it's corrected. And a lot of times you're seeing those in-game corrections in a way that maybe you haven't, I personally haven't always seen, that when there's an issue, he tries to get it corrected immediately. So the next time out, and so when it was the back-to-back issues with the kickoff, he was not happy about it. But then by the third time that game, it got corrected, and he let him know about that too. I think that's where the balance is with Coach Eckler. He's going to call you out and hold you to a standard, but when you do things right, he's also gonna celebrate you and appreciate you for that too.
Well, the one thing that might concern me on kickoffs too, and with Kyle Kunanen, who took over the kickoff specialist duties, is probably want a higher touchback rate I would say, for me. There's been a lot of returnable kicks on special teams that sometimes can leave you a little bit concerned because you run into some of these bigger and better athletes in the Big Ten, so that could be a concern moving forward. I'll tell you what, because we hadn't seen Archie Wilson in a 2-game span, but now you see why he's such a difference maker. He had 2 punts over 50 yards, the ability to roll out, have that perfect spiral, or what they like to call that banana ball, that sideways spinning ball that's just hard to catch as a returner. It takes a lot of your focus away from running, as opposed to you just have to make sure that you catch it. And a lot of times that turns into almost a certain fair catch on special teams. So his ability to flip field position in that Michigan game, and the power in his leg and what he was able to do a couple times pinned up near his own goal line was really good, and shows that the hype was warranted for Archie.
All right, I have some homework for you. Okay, so originally I had planned, but we talked too much. I looked up, it's like 7:20 already, so we got to get to a break. But did want to play a couple clips that we heard from Coach Butler today in his press conference availability. But we are going to hear from Uggy from men's basketball.
Okay.
You're the play-by-play guy. You check on his pronunciation, and you can announce.
Let me see.
You can set up the interview coming up when we get through after Coach Butler. We will hear from Uggy coming up. I had a chance to chat with him. I know they're really, really excited about him. Big addition for Nebraska men's basketball. So that's my first time talking with him. So we're going to hear from him coming up a little bit later in the show. But up next, we'll hear from the defensive coordinator, John Butler. Keep it here on Sports Nightly. And Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
You show up for every Husker game because it's about more than football. It's about celebrating that Nebraska grit that's in our DNA. That same drive pushes you to get stronger, move more, and take care of yourself. To show up for the people and moments that matter most. We believe you have what it takes. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska covers preventive care with every plan. And our digital tools help you stay on track every step of the way. Blue believes in what you're made of. And Blue believes in you.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Reliable energy service wherever you need it. Whether it's propane, fuels, or lubricants, Central Valley Ag delivers with reliability and care you can count on. From your farm to your home or your business, CVA Energy is your trusted partner for agricultural, commercial, and residential energy solutions. Details at cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
You show up for every Husker game because it's about more than football. It's about celebrating that Nebraska grit that's in our DNA. That same drive pushes you to get stronger, move more, and take care of yourself. To show up for the people and moments that matter most. We believe you have what it takes. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska covers preventive care with every plan. And our digital tools help you stay on track every step of the way. Blue believes in what you're made of. And Blue believes in you.
Over the last few years, we've redefined what working remotely means, and so is the Ford F-150. Bring your desk wherever you go with an available flat interior work surface. Drop down the available tailgate work surface to get it all done. And plug in what you need outside the cab with available Pro Power on board. How's that for upping your productivity? Tough this smart can only be called F-150. Get F-150 for 0.9% plus $3,250 cash, or lease one for $499 a month and $0 down. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers, driven by value.
Set. Hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole, Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. All right, let's hear from the defensive coordinator, John Butler. Met with the media today for his weekly press conference. Again, we will not hear from Dana Holgorsen here tonight because he will be here for the full hour tomorrow night. So just going to hear a couple from John Butler here tonight. And let's just start. He was asked about, how important it is to not overreact to those big plays that this defense has given up.
Well, the big plays are happening when? In the run game. They're only happening in the run game. So it's very specific. It's not like they're running the ball for 50 yards and throwing the ball for 50 yards. So I think we have a good plan in terms of what we're doing when we think they're going to throw the ball. So we've got to solve the obvious, which is not just the run defense, but the explosive plays that we're giving up in the run defense. And really it comes down to guys being in their gaps, guys having the ability to get off blocks. Credit to the other team. I think I said this to you guys in the past, like I have to evaluate, can they block us? Can we tackle them? And I think through really the Cincinnati game and the Michigan game, because they're the two obviously comparable opponents in terms of talent similar to ours or better, you have to be able to evaluate. And right now we're getting blocked too much and we're not tackling them well enough. And we have to practice that. We have to emphasize that. At times maybe, we got to put more guys in the box, which then, as you know, when it's 11 on 11 and the quarterback's running the ball, the more you put in the box, the more you make yourself susceptible to throws down the field. But we obviously have to address that because that's the elephant in the room. That's Captain Obvious can figure out that we're giving up too many explosive runs.
I mean, that's what we all saw. What we all saw on a couple Saturdays ago against Michigan, the explosive plays, but we like to single out maybe the one person that misses a tackle in the secondary that maybe had a one-on-one opportunity, when there's a lot of people in those situations that maybe have to do a better job, whether that's the defensive line or filling as a linebacker, and then eventually that safety or that corner is that last line of insurance when you have to that can stop an explosive play from maybe being 15 yards to then a 75-yard touchdown. So what he says probably rings true, and I'm sure what's echoed at practice is, this isn't a one guy missing a tackle. This is, the first guy misses an assignment, the next guy misses his assignment, and turns into this big play.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. Do you find it encouraging or maybe frustrating or concerning the fact that you can't just point to one thing, why there's not just one thing that you can correct on some of these big plays? I think, I've talked to you guys about it. There's been a couple times that maybe it's been one guy was not in the right spot that ends up in a big play. You talked about guys not getting off the blocks or missing the tackle. It's not like just one thing. It's not like they're just bad at tackling. You know what I mean?
I think it's just the nature of the sport, right? We have baseball on our television right now where you could zero in on, okay, one guy's struggling at the plate. That's one guy's ability to hit a slider or hit a fastball. But when you have 22 guys that are running on the field, there's a lot of responsibilities that are going on. And there's a lot of things that when you watch on tape, and if you're not somebody who's really dialed in or a coach or an expert that can see certain things as a fan, you tend to circle in on, this guy missed this tackle, where there's the three things leading up to it that John Butler can see, that Coach Rule can see, that the players know, that maybe a defensive lineman can hang his head saying, I know I screwed up there, but the millions of people watching on CBS don't necessarily see that.
I think that's my point, is what I was trying to get at is that it's not like, the defensive line is a big problem, or, I think everybody feels like they need to make improvements, but it's not like you can just fault one person.
No.
There's been different issues that they just all need to make sure that they're on the same page, and all guys doing their jobs. That's been the issue that I think has led to some of the big plays.
And it's going to be a really big opportunity this weekend because they have a really good quarterback, pretty solid running game and offense, so that there's a lot of opportunity to clean those things up.
Okay, so up next, we've been talking a lot about Aiden Childs here with Michigan State, one of the best quarterbacks here in the conference. So Coach Butler was asked just about the challenges of facing Childs.
I think he's a great athlete. He can throw in the pocket. He can throw on the move. He can run, design. They have the quarterback draws that we've seen, out of Cincinnati and that we've seen out of Michigan. They have the same exact structure that we've seen. And then they run him a lot in the red zone. And then he takes off a lot just in scrambles. He's very difficult to tackle. You can see he's got strong lower body. And you can see he's a very, very, very good competitor, which, that's really what it comes down to in these games is the competitors stand out, the ones that aren't on your team, the ones that are on their team. And you can see that, much like Sorsby, when you see how well he's competed even after our game, those guys that have it in them and in their heart and they're going to do whatever it takes to win, those are the types of guys you have to make sure you're defending.
Yeah, he's had a really good year in terms of a passer. He's limited his mistakes this year as opposed to what he had last year. I think him and Dylan were tied for the most interceptions in the Big Ten last season. Both of them have severely cut down their interceptions from, I think, 11 to 1 through the first 4 games this year, just like Dylan. Aiden's completion percentage is up, but there is that idea that he can present himself as a runner where Sorsby, that was more in his bag. Bryce Underwood, he was more of a guy that he wants to be a pro-style quarterback, but they moved him out and got him to throw as he would roll out of the pocket, and it wasn't necessarily design runs. We did see a few design runs for Bryce Underwood, that's for sure. But for Aiden Childs, he presents a lot of different capabilities for their offense. They have 2 really strong running backs that are hard to bring to the ground. I think what the difference in this game is, and what I'm really interested in for John Butler, because he's super aggressive in how he calls defense. He wants to blitz a lot, wants to play man-to-man on the outside. Michigan State, they have injuries on the offensive line, but they've had a lot of issues in terms of protecting the quarterback. Can they get after him a lot, get him out of his rhythm, and maybe some of those scramble plays, do they have a better plan for when he's on plan B or plan C? Can they bring him down to the ground?
So what about, we hit on it a little bit, but when you flip back over and you talk about the issues defensively for Michigan State, where do you feel like are the areas that this Nebraska offense could maybe really attack?
Well, their pass defense has not been good. It's the worst in the Big Ten. So, and also on the ground, so they were okay. I think they were a top 10 run defense up until they gave up 259 rush yards against USC. So USC seemed to figure something out against Michigan State where that was essentially their plan. They were a top 10 run defense team, and they give up a pretty decent amount of explosive plays of 15 or 20 or more yards. It's going to be an opportunity for, if he wants to, and that's what the looks that they get, Dylan can have the opportunity to throw the ball a little bit more downfield, have the opportunity to have guys get behind the defense. We mentioned the injuries that they have on the defensive side, but I think this is a game that they're going to want to establish the run, considering what they just put on tape against USC. It's going to be a heavy feed Emmett Johnson game, and I think you're going to get a good idea from the first drive or so as to, okay, how much is Dana maybe going to lean on Emmett, and how much are they going to lean on that run game, considering, okay, also, what does the offensive line look like? What are they doing their work?
Yeah, and, it's if there was something that Lincoln Riley saw on tape to take advantage of it, guarantee you that Dana Holgorsen has seen it too. So it'll be interesting to see if Michigan State has tried to make some adjustments and if they have the personnel to do that.
Yeah, so mentioned they have... And one of the linebackers, too, that went down, we talked about yesterday, actually left on a stretcher and was put in an ambulance. He's been moving around, and he's questionable this week, which was shocking. And, they're 2 or 3 linebackers down, so they have a lot of depth issues there that Nebraska can really try and wear them out. But there's a lot of things that Nebraska can exploit. When you look at it on paper, and as we know, and as Nebraska fans know, these games are not won on paper because there's a lot of games where Nebraska would be considered to be the favorite in years past, and it just didn't turn out the way you thought it would. So I think there's always that lingering thought in the back of your mind. But when you look at it on paper, what Nebraska does well is what Michigan State's defense does not do well defending. So...
I forgot. Who was your click to pick? It was
Key.
Dane Key, yeah. I think we're just rotating it around. I still have to get mine in. That's a good reminder.
Yeah,
so
yeah. I mean, what is this?
It could be very much a multi-touchdown day for multiple guys.
You hope.
Yeah.
I think it could be a big day for that wide receiving core. I think it's Dylan. I think you write him in that this is a game, if they win, if Nebraska's clicking on all cylinders, that Dylan has a massive day, another one of those 300-plus yard passing days. And then I think getting Emmett on track is big. He just didn't have the opportunity to get into a groove, like break that 15, 20-yard run. He had that one good run on the opening drive, and then it just was hard for him to get going. I mean, credit Michigan in what they had up front, but I think this is a confidence game for Emmett Johnson, where can you have him break a couple of 25, 30, maybe a 50-yard run in this game like we saw in the previous weeks?
I picked him against Michigan. Maybe I'll just pick him again.
Yeah, no, I think you jinxed him. I think don't do that.
No, I told you that the guys that I pick have have a huge week the next week.
Yeah, but that's because you didn't pick him in that following week, so you got to leave him be.
All right, did you do your homework? Because it's coming up next. We're going to hear from Mookie.
I'm scared.
I know. Let's see how you can deliver.
Let's call Kent.
I know.
Have
Well,
Kent do it.
He will post. It's so funny. There have been a couple of guys that have had some interesting pronunciations that he starts practicing in the summer, and he'll like put it on his dashboard in his car and practice while he's driving in the summer, like all leading up to tip off to make sure.
There's some
right.
really, really tough names on this. Some international names that are they're tough.
All right, we're gonna see how you do coming up next. All right, Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
From the chant of Husker Power to Allo Fiber powering your home and Husker Nation, Allo is the teammate you can trust. Whether you're streaming at home with Allo Internet, watching on the go with DirecTV through Allo, or checking stats and scores on Allo Mobile, Allo keeps you in the game. With Allo plus DirecTV plus Allo Mobile, you get the ultimate teamwork. Internet you can count on, TV you can stream anytime, anywhere, and nationwide coverage you can depend on. Bench the other guys and team up with the official Internet, TV, and mobile partner of the Huskers. Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Exarban Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
Call SOS, a trustworthy company since 1950. Their technicians don't earn commission. This equals fair treatment to their customers. SOS is a family-owned third-generation company, and now to celebrate the 75th year in business for a limited time, get a New York AC or furnace for $75 per month. Get you and your loved ones comfortable again with SOS. Call 402-391-2336.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit gocurrency.com and apply today.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Baxter Toyota of La Vista, Baxter Toyota of Lincoln, Corin Toyota of Bellevue, or Village Point Toyota of Omaha.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly on this Tuesday night edition with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. I cannot believe tomorrow is October.
Can you believe it? Pumpkin spice and everything nice.
My birthday and hoops.
What day is your birthday? I should
The 20th.
know. 20th?
Yeah.
Okay.
But basketball season, too, is here.
Yes.
I love that.
That doesn't matter as much as your birthday, though.
Love that. No, it does. I'm way more excited about that. And we had the basketball team in today, men's basketball today, doing a bunch of different things, getting the intro video shot, all that great stuff. And women's basketball will be in tomorrow. I had a chance to chat with Oogie, and
You just go with Oogie. You're not even going to bother with the rest of
Nope. That's the play-by-play guys' jobs to get the pronunciations right. So
Well,
I challenged you at like 20 minutes ago to see
You know
if you
who
can get it
we're
right.
gonna rely on this? We're gonna rely on Oogie, because Oogie actually says his name on the website. I want everybody to listen to this. Of course, it went away. Hold on.
Ugnius Jarusevicius.
Jarusevicius.
Ugnius Jarusevicius. Ugnius Jarusevicius.
That was no.
Ugnius Jarusevicius. That's.
Oogie.
Well, I can't say. I'm trying to do the whole thing. Ugnius Jarusevicius. Nailed it.
I don't know. I think you're missing like a.
Let's listen.
an
You be the
emphasis.
verdict out there.
You're
Hold
missing
on.
an emphasis on
Yeah, I
it.
think the chus is
on the Yara.
Jarusevicius.
Yara.
Jarusevicius.
That was better. There you go.
Ugnius Jarusevicius is joining us here on Sports Nightly.
I had a chance to chat with him today. Here's that conversation. All right. Well, doing some media today. How do you enjoy this part of it?
I mean, it's a great experience for sure. I mean, just the vibe of it. Everybody's happy. I'm happy. It's a great mood.
You seem like you were following instructions well in front of the camera. You seem pretty comfortable there.
You could say so. Not a big fan of cameras, but yeah, you could say so.
Well, what's it been like for you settling in here and getting acclimated with this team and this program?
I mean, it's been great. We have a great group of guys. They made that transition pretty easy, I'd say.
How have practices been, and what's it been like fitting in there?
I mean, it's great. New system, new coaches, everything's new for me. So just trying to learn as much as I can and improve as much as I can.
How do you personally go about that? Everybody learns differently. What's kind of the key for you to learn a new system?
Just trying to take as much as I can. Coach is always trying to help me out. Just trying to follow their advice and do what's best.
So I know that you were someone that Coach Hoiberg thought would fit very well in the system. How do you feel like your game is fitting in with what Coach Hoiberg likes to do?
I'd say pretty well. I mean, I can do a little bit of everything, and that's, I guess, what coaches ask. So we'll see. We'll see during the season. I say that.
Okay, so when you entered the transfer portal, what were you looking for in your last place of final place playing college basketball?
Well, I just wanted to play against the big dogs, Power 5 conference. So that's what I was looking for mainly.
What made you feel like your game would translate and would work here at Nebraska and in the Big Ten?
Well, they showed a lot of interest, and I think we watched a lot of film with the coaches, and I think I just fit in pretty well.
Okay, so you're a versatile guy, can play inside, can step out and hit the three. I know that's Coach Hoiberg loves his bigs that can shoot. How has that become a part of your game? Why has that been a big part of what you can do?
I mean, I think I'm a guy who can adjust pretty well to any of the coach's needs. I mean, I was a little bit of a 4 back in Europe, so I was shooting more threes, playing more outside. But here in the States, I was playing a lot of 5, so it was just remembering some things, more than learning.
What does it do when you have guys with size that can step out and hit it from the outside?
I think it's hard to defend, to be honest. I mean, because bigs obviously got to respect that. They can't help as much, and rim is becoming more easy to score at the rim. I'd say that.
Had you been to Nebraska before?
No, but my friend was here, so Oleg. So shout out to him, but he helped me out a little bit,
So what did you think then when you got here? Was it what you expected? What did you like about it?
Well, it was more than I expected, to be honest. We got everything here, so I can't complain, but I think it's a great place.
What's been your favorite part?
Definitely the facilities, the basketball court. I mean, I love basketball, so I don't need much.
You spend a lot of time in the facilities?
Yeah, that's it.
Why are you such a gym rat?
I just love the game. I mean, that's what I like to do.
Yeah. Playing overseas, you mentioned playing in Europe and that style. How has that kind of translated to playing over here in the United States in college basketball?
I mean, everywhere I've been, it's been a little bit different, from each other. But I say here it's more like Europe-like. We play a lot of like team organized basketball, and that's probably the thing I was missing the most from leaving Europe.
Have you checked out a football game yet?
Yeah, I've been to a couple. I've been to a Akron game and I've been to a Michigan game.
What'd you think?
It's crazy. It's really crazy. The atmosphere is crazy.
Yeah. How exciting is that when you see the support and how crazy it gets for their athletics?
It's crazy because like in Europe, where the club I was part of, it was like 14,000 people in the arena, and it used to be crazy. I heard this, the arena fits more people, so I'm excited to see what it's all about.
Okay, so then what have practices been like? I mean, how competitive is it? How are you guys battling it out?
I mean, practice has been really competitive. We just crossed the official hours per practice. So, I mean, it's great. Like, guys really want to win. Guys really competing. I feel like it's a great atmosphere.
You've been a part of a lot of teams. How do you like the way that this group is coming together?
I say great. I mean, I think we all on the same page, and I think that's what matters the most. So that's going to help us win.
Keep hearing, it was one of the areas that I know Coach Hoiberg emphasized they got to improve on is shooting the ball better. I keep hearing that you guys are lighting up the gym. Is that correct?
True, especially Price, man. Price don't miss that nowadays. So, yeah. I'll
give it contagious then?
I'd say so, yeah. I see him making shots. You want to make some too, so it's
How much fun is that to be a part of when you got a lot of guys that can shoot the ball?
I mean, it's fun. It makes the game simpler and easier to play when the guys can knock down shots. That's about it.
How about defensively? How is that transition been with Coach Nate?
Coach Nate is a tough guy. He asks a lot, but he tries to do as much as he can, and I feel like I'm improving just by his advice.
All right, almost 2 weeks from the first exhibition. How ready are you?
I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm excited.
Awesome. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Oogie here with us. It's going to be, I was talking to Camden today when we were waiting to shoot that interview, just seeing all the different guys. There's a lot of key returners, but then there's also some key pieces that they've added, and I just cannot wait to see that first exhibition game. Obviously, Coach Hoiberg, and he usually does this, he'll play a lot of different guys, a lot of different lineups, and see who plays the best together. But I think it's going to be fascinating to see how he gets that narrowed down and what group plays well together and how they – because, there have been times like last year they had a defensive lineup and then they had the really scoring line. So it just how it shakes out, because there's as much as there's a lot of known coming back, there's a lot of unknown too. But I do think it's a great group. I think they got a lot of versatile guys and a huge emphasis that he talked about at the end of last season going in. It had to improve on the perimeter shooting, and I think they've really targeted that, and it sounds like it's just been they don't miss.
Yeah, I mean, most teams around the country probably don't know their true rotation until conference play comes around. Yeah. It takes a couple months to know what your rotation is, and for an exhibition to play BYU, sometimes a lot of those are an NAIA school or Division II or Division III. So to get an opportunity to see your guys against some top-tier competition like BYU, it's going to give you a lot of answers right away in a couple weeks. So that'll help maybe some of those questions. But again, that rotation, it takes a lot of non-conference play to sort of sort that out.
The thing about this, though, the Big Ten, you start playing those games in December, though.
A little earlier.
You got some big games. Hey, if you want to be a part of the action, they have the starting 5 mini plan has been out. It's for a week now, but you can customize the season ticket mini plans. So they're really popular, just $80, includes all fees, but you can buy 300 level seats and get pick your 5 games. But they also want you to be there for the BYU exhibition game as well. They really are hoping for a big crowd out there. I think maybe have some recruits in town, but so get on out there, support this team. I think they're going to be really fun to watch. I really do. So Huskers.com/tickets. 808 Big Red. You can call there as well. Women will be in. We'll hear from the women tomorrow. They're going to be up here in the studio doing their thing tomorrow afternoon. But I saw Juju announce that she's going to miss this season. So, with the way that the redshirt rule is with basketball, you can't just, you probably don't want to waste that year if you're not full go until midway through. And so might as well just wait a full year and get yourself back fully healthy. But so that was one of the things one of the games that we had circled that we were excited about, to see her come here with USC, one of the top players in women's college basketball, but she will not play in that game here when they come to Lincoln.
Yeah, but you want to be 100%, and like you said, you're taking a risk whenever you play games to get a medical red shirt. Like, it's not like football where you have that 4-game window or there's a certain percentage. Whenever you start playing games, there's always a risk that you're not going to get that year back. So for her, she knows her situation, and it's torn ACL, right, in the tournament last year?
Yeah, it was in the NCAA tournament. So I think it was projected. Right when the scheduling came out, they had a press conference and had said that she was progressing, but if you do, the earliest return is 6-7 months, and still that's still you're not full go. It takes some time to get yourself back into game speed, and so it still takes some time. So you're looking at maybe her not being fully ready to go till January, February. So
her spot in the WNBA is very much clinched. So get healthy. Enjoy the NIL deals in college, and then you'll be ready for the WNBA, and she will be the spotlight when she comes back next year for women's college basketball. She is the biggest star in women's college basketball. It's not really close.
All right, we're back to wrap up the show next.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
When second's making a play, short's got to cover.
A winning insurance strategy doesn't rely on one person.
Good hustle, good hustle.
Communicate with your guys and make sure everyone's in the right coverage. It takes a team that knows its roles well, working together to provide an exceptional experience.
Set the screen. You have to protect yourself. 1, 2, 3, Wildcats!
At Shelter Insurance, you can count on our local agents and award-winning customer service to help you protect what matters most.
See Shelter Agent John Austin in Fairbury, Rhonda Miller in Alliance, or Stephanie Culver in Holdridge today.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. Final segment here tonight. Tim in Minnesota texted in and said, not only am I looking forward to your birthday, Jessica, but I can't help but remember Greg's birthday was October 5th, exactly a week before mine. Fret not, Kyle. I'll remember your birthday when it rolls around there next spring. I guess Tim already knows when your birthday is. But not just because of my birthday. October has to be possibly my favorite time of the year. I couldn't agree more with you, Tim. And I thought that too, that Russ's birthday is also in October. So we celebrated a lot of birthdays here in October. And so Greg's was always first. And then mine, we had a lot of cookies in the studio in October.
We'll have to have some sort of treats up in Greg's booth because his birthday will be the next day. So Sunday, October 5th, we'll make sure we give it a shout out on the air. And, obviously, it's Greg meant so much to a lot of people, and for somebody to remember his birthday, remember your birthday, and it just shows this kind of has a connection that's unmatched with a lot of people.
Your birthday's in May, so May 29th.
May 29th. Yeah. I'm a Gemini.
You normally, in the past, you've celebrated it at the Women's College World Series, and we're going to keep that trend going.
That's right. So do I get to go to the Women's College World Series as a fan if I'm...
Yeah. Yeah, I think
and
so.
do that and celebrate my birthday there?
Nate's production assistant.
Okay, I think he'd love that. I think we'd all love that. I saw Nate today at the press conference.
Yeah, he had
the voice
what was
of
on his shirt,
Arrowhead.
on his polo.
He had some sort of logoed button-up going today.
Yeah.
I didn't get a close enough look
Yeah.
to see what it was, but
I've been really impressed with your ability to multitask here during the show because you're also a Yankees fan.
I'm really in pain over here. While we're
And-
talking, let's take people behind the curtain here. So the Yankees have had a 1-0 lead for the most of this game. They gave up 2 runs. I think it was in the 7th or the 8th. There's 2 outs in the top of the 9th. They're playing the Red Sox in a best-of-3 wild card series at Yankee Stadium for a chance to move on to the ALDS. And they gave up those 2 runs. They went down in the 8th. So essentially, if they need one more out here in the 9th to get down to their final 3 outs, I don't know who's due up here in the bottom of the 9th. But after this show's over, I'm going to be still in this studio watching this giant TV in front of me.
We should have just kept John Baylor here for hour 2 and just let you and JB go back and forth because he's a Boston fan. We should just let y'all do your own thing during this game.
He's probably watching right now. I mean, this is, and to have the rivalry of, which, hasn't been what it's been in the last couple of years. It's been weird. The Red Sox have been so up and down. The Yankees have been pretty consistent, but they haven't won any championships since 2009. So this is an opportunity to sort of get over that hump here for the Yankees, and they certainly have the team. They're one of the hottest teams in Major League Baseball right now heading into the postseason. So if they were to lose a best-of-3 to their bitter rival here in their home ballpark, this would be tough. But this is just game 1, so can't do play-by-play. That's against the radio regulations here. We don't own the rights to Yankees Red Sox, so I'll refrain from doing any.
We didn't purchase those.
We don't have those. Those cost a lot of money, Jess. So
okay, so that's another thing in October is playoff baseball.
It's probably the best sports month, I'd argue, professionally, of all the months, because you're in NFL, you're in prime NFL watching, you're in Major League Baseball playoffs, and the NBA starts.
You know what else is in October is Halloween. That Jim Briggs has sent us costumes every year in the past. Last year we just reused the ones because he had sent us 2 multiple hats. But he's already let me know that he's got it put together. And I let you know, like, you have no choice. You're in on that.
Yeah, you told me there's no choice in the matter, so I will be wearing whatever Jim sends within reason.
Yeah. I can't wait to see what he has in store for us this year.
No.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Oh, no. Double off the wall, 3-1 Red Sox.
Uh-oh.
And
Kyle's going to go cry himself to sleep tonight.
Yeah, this is very tough. It's very tough. You know what would make that feel better? A Husker win on Saturday. But, again, it's best of 3, so you still have a chance the next day. You're only down 2 runs. Just, the game isn't over. But
you have a better view. When I'm looking at you, I can't really see what's going on, so I can just see your reactions a lot of times, and you're just So, but great.
If I'm very sad when we come on the air tomorrow.
Great spot to watch all the big sports. Okay, so coming up tomorrow night again, Dana Holgerson will be here. You also had a chance to chat with Luke Lindenmeyer.
Yep. So we'll have him and Luke on tomorrow's Nebraska football show.
It'll be tomorrow night, and from the 6 to 7 o'clock hour. We will also have, we had recorded the dig today, so we'll hear a little bit from Jalen Reyes. I'm supposed to talk to the big dog for the sideline slice, but who knows? I don't know. He did not get an elk, but apparently the group that he's with got 2 elk and a bear, so we'll have to ask him about that. And also he'll be back for picks on Thursday. We'll hear from women's basketball, who will be here. So fun show coming up for you tomorrow night. So full 2 hours here on Sports Nightly. Thanks to Esteban, David, Kyle. We'll talk to you tomorrow night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Game-changing technology is just a phone call away. When your office technology isn't playing nice and you need expert help, give Hamilton Business Technologies a shout. We are the official business IT partner of the Huskers, and we are your partner for IT support. From on-site or remote managed IT services to business phone systems and proactive cybersecurity solutions, Nebraska businesses trust us when they need expert help. When your technology playbook needs a rewrite, think of Hamilton Business Technologies and visit us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Fall into savings and drive something new at Woodhouse Chevy. Whether you're tailgating, planning a fall road trip, or driving your daily commute, there's a vehicle in the Chevy lineup that's perfect for wherever the road takes you. From reliable trucks to spacious SUVs, you'll find a wide selection of inventory, plus special financing and limited time offers available now. Shop online anytime or stop by one of our 2 convenient locations in Omaha or Missouri Valley. Woodhouse Chevy. Together, let's drive.
At Hogemeyer, we're raising the bar on yield performance, bringing world-class traits and genetics to these local fields. With the exceptional corn rootworm control and proven powerful yields of new Vorceed Enlist corn. The unsurpassed flexibility and protection against above-ground pests with PowerCore Enlist corn. And other next-gen corn hybrids built to perform and boost your yields. It's time to raise a better crop. View Hogemeyer products at therightseed.com.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit GoCurrency.com and